start 29 years ago, June 4th. Started as a Brazilian club. That lasted about a month. And when I say lasted about a month, I realized really early I just couldn't do Brazilian music. I ended up tracing Brazilian music back to its roots, Africa, and in turn just started doing music that was Afrocentric in nature. The next series we did was a series called Africa Meets Brazil, and more or less I just followed the music as it left Africa and landed in South America, North America, Central America. Prior to opening the club, I was living in Europe. I was living in Paris at the time. I had a girlfriend at the time that only listened to Brazilian music. I in turn fell in love with the music. My dad was in the sandwich business, half of SOBs today, half the size of it. He had a sandwich shop. I convinced him to convert his sandwich shop into a club with a lot of little sweat labor and very little funds at the time. We sort of opened it on faith, and as soon as we opened our doors, it was, thank God, it was a great success. Early on, our very first hip-hop show was with KRS-One. At that point, he was really pushing Stop the Violence movement. We had a weekly series. Didn't last all that long. There's a little history behind it. An artist ended up bringing a weapon into the club, and I said, well, that's where we're going to stop for a while. It was during a time where most clubs were not doing hip-hop. Hip-hop was perceived as being ultra-violent and inner-city, African-American orientated. And ironically, hip-hop has always been multicultural from its roots. And you know, I've seen it sort of progress to so much of what is hip-hop today is probably not based in the inner city anymore, but based in the suburbs.
I mean, you know, we're a venue, you know, that holds about 450 people. It's not the biggest venue, but it's definitely a launching pad for up-and-coming artists to make a name for themselves in front of the biggest city in the world. You know, like Kanye did his first New York show here, you know, Drake did his first New York show here, and it's proven to be a launching pad to something that springs you into the next level where you can do bigger venues and get the recognition that a great artist is going to eventually get.
We don't cherry pick who we think is already popped as hot. We try to put, and this is one of the reasons actually Le'Roy is part of the SOBs team, is I want Le'Roy to lead us into the future in terms of hip-hop, of, you know, curating great music, great hip-hop music for SOBs. I mean, that's the key.
It's exciting to, like Larry was saying, to find those artists before they pop, and looking back, like how you brought up Kanye, you know, look back and say, well, we had Kanye before he was Kanye West. You know, we want to have that reputation of having artists before they become the mega stars that are performing in front of the Garden in the biggest arenas in the world. So I mean, it's definitely an exciting phase of an artist's career, and from a talent buyer's career to be responsible for putting on great shows and introducing fresh new talent to the mainstream.
Kanye, before he blew, is just a hard-working artist that I think the biggest surprise is, you know, as almost a producer versus the artist, and then coming back to being, you know, an artist, producer all in one. But early on in his career, for me, his delivery wasn't all that strong. I mean, this is where someone goes from playing, say, a small club like SOBs to doing arenas, and now you see, you know, the complete creative process of, you know, sort of the one person on stage to be able to work with an entire ensemble that he puts together. And, you know, that's pretty special. It's pretty creative. I mean, Kanye is a great artist. John Legend, just as a side note, got his record deal with Sony based on the Live at SOBs tape he made from here, you know, so, which is a bit ironic. But with John Legend used to play part of our Soul Village series all the time. I mean, John was a true artist workaholic. I mean, if he could get on the stage, he was on the stage. sometimes it's not the mainstream artist. Sometimes it's an up-and-coming artist that you feel like, wow, this is going to explode. Sometimes it doesn't happen. I mean, one of my favorite artists that hasn't sort of developed to that next level yet is Blitz the Ambassador. I mean, I think he's an amazing artist. He's got a great live show. He sort of has developed, you know, him in the group. And it's just a pity that it hasn't gone on.